How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the Wrestling Connection podcast YouTube channel. And I am here today. I just wanted to share some thoughts about last night's Impact Wrestling Bound for Glory pay-per-view. My God, another great Impact pay-per-view. I tell you something, Impact's pay-per-views are always so stellar, so good, so strong compared to some other stuff. I think their TV shows are often, if I'm honest, quite passable, although it's always good, it's consistently good, it's good wrestling, good in-ring, good storylines, good booking, you know, you're pushing new stars, there's always a different sort of main event going on, like Eric Young and Rich Swann in the main event of Bound for Glory would have been laughable a year ago, but not laughable anymore. They had a great match. It's one of those ones where their TVs I do miss them every so often. It's not, you know, urgent TV like Raw, SmackDown and Dynamite is. Those three shows I'm always on board with and always watching every single week. But with Impact and actually NXT this right now is just not really capturing me, which is so weird and so kind of sad because NXT was my favourite for the longest time and now it's just not hooking me right now. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's because it's not as accessible as the other ones to me, but still, you know, and maybe because I watch Dynamite on a Thursday morning because obviously it's too late to stay up every week, you know. So maybe after I've watched Dynamite, I've kind of had my wrestling fix for the day and I kind of don't want to watch anymore. Maybe that's it. But I mean, all the NXT pay-per-views are always good. But why are we talking about that now? This is about BFG, Bound for Glory. Great show. Match of the night for me was the tag match with the North regaining the Impact tag titles against the Motor City Machine Guns, the Good Brothers and Madman Fulton and Ace Austin. I just thought it was an amazing tag match, and the thing about this one is it's a multi-team tag match, so there's so many elements of disaster in that situation. And for some reason, and let's be honest, in TNA, back in the day, when they always did these like multi-man X Division matches and multi-team tag matches, there was always so much that went wrong, whether it was from a production side of things, a botch, an injury, all these things. There was always one or two things that would go wrong, and kind of that was part of the appeal because it was so like Crash TV sort of vibes, you know. You wanted to watch it to see what was going to happen. But this was pretty flawless of a multi-man, multi-team tag match. You know, yes, Alex Shelley was taken away and stuff. So good to see the Machine Guns back in Impact, man. It's just, oh God. One of my favourite tag teams of all time, one of the best tag teams of all time, and now it's almost like they've not missed a beat, you know, they're so good, they don't age. Seeing Chris Sabin, you know, I remember when Chris Sabin won the world title against Bully Ray, and I was sitting on this spot, and it was obviously nearly 3 o'clock in the morning or whatever, and I was watching it on some dodgy stream site and just going mental. Chris Sabin won the world title, and it's just so good to see him still doing so good, still having such good matches and Impact and that sort of thing. So that was great. I loved that match. It was as smooth as a multi-team match as I've seen maybe ever. The best multi-team tag match I've seen in long time. Just watched Borat 2 in a long time, in many years. Definitely go out of your way to watch this match. It was my favourite match of the whole show. The women's match, Deonna Purrazzo versus Su Yung. That was meant to be Chris Tucker, by the way, from Rush Hour. Or Rush Hour 3. Everybody was kung fu fighting. Su Yung! Why? I mean, surely she watched Rush Hour and went, I'm going to call myself Su Yung. Unless that's her real name, I don't know. But I've not seen much of Su Yung, but she was awesome last night. I was buzzing to watch Deonna Purrazzo versus Kylie Ray. Buzzing. I love both girls. And then Kylie Ray just doesn't show up. I wonder if it's a COVID situation. I read online it may have been an injury thing that's not too serious but just couldn't perform. If that was the case though, you'd imagine you would have saw like a backstage attack or something like that, which makes me think it's a COVID situation, which is a shame because I had a good feeling that Kylie Ray was going to win the title. But Deonna Purrazzo is one of my favourites. She's so cool, she's awesome, she's fun to watch, she's easy to watch, she's genuinely likeable, she's great in the ring, she's great. And she's a great champion. So I was a bit miffed if I actually lost the title, but it was a really, really, really good match actually. The best Su Yung match I've ever seen, so yeah, good stuff. Main event with Rich Swann winning the Impact World title against Eric Young. A story-based match, but still full of action and great strikes. I've noticed these two are so good with their strikes. You know the way that some folk, when they forearm or whatever, they slap their leg, and it's really, really over the top and obvious. Slapping your leg does not bother me in the slightest. It's wrestling, you know what I mean? I'm not, if they'll do it in UFC, I would laugh. But it's not, it's wrestling. We know it's, you know, what it is. So when people slap the legs and stuff like that, it doesn't bother me whatsoever. But there's a way that Eric Young especially does it. It just looks so brutal and sounds amazing. They are a great match, and I like the finish. I like the vibe of the match of Rich Swann fighting back from just being, had the bad leg and had the bad neck. Just a good match, and Rich Swann is a really likeable wrestler too. I know he's had his issues, but It's good to see him as the world champion. We'll see where we go from here. It's a nice change having someone like Rich Swann, being the world champion, which is good. Other matches, Ken Shamrock and Eddie Edwards was good. Eddie Edwards, I've said on the podcast before, I think is one of the best wrestlers in the world that doesn't get enough credit. A low-key best in the world. Eddie Edwards is incredible and has been for about 10 years now. It's crazy, so consistent, and again, someone who doesn't age. Ken Shamrock, on the other hand, does age a little bit. He's looking a bit old, but he still looks in incredible condition. Great shape, and Ken Shamrock, to me, was never the most pretty wrestler. I mean, he never was going to be. He was, a UFC Hall of Fame and stuff. But even now, like, he is still a bit off when it comes to in the ring, which is fine because it's Ken Shamrock and he's like in his 50s. So cool to see him. There was a bit of star power, and he's just got inducted into the Hall of Fame. So cool to see Bret Hart, talk about Ken Shamrock, Mick Foley, former TNA World Champion, and of course The Rock. My God, the feckin' Rock on Impact. Are you crazy? That is mental, man. You never thought you'd see that. But it was so cool. I love the fact they did it for Ken. It wasn't because it's this big thing, this big controversial against WWE. It's because their pal Ken was getting inducted and honoured. Even though it wasn't the WWE Hall of Fame, it's still a big deal, and it probably is a big deal with Ken Shamrock. I loved that. I thought that was really cool. Other notable things, Rohit Raju. I'm not the biggest fan. I don't know much about him, but he retained the X Division title. Nice to see Jordan Grace in that match as well. She's great. Oh yes, the Call Your Shot gauntlet, which there's always these gauntlet things on these shows just to get as many folk on the card as possible, and that's fine. But they're either always really entertaining, like the women's one at Slammiversary was really entertaining, and some of them can be quite slow and a bit boring. This one was a bit of both. It was pretty entertaining with some spots, with like Tommy Dreamer, Hornswoggle, Kurt Hawkins, things like that, but a couple of things I was like, what the hell. James Storm, my God, I totally forgot about that. Cowboy James Storm returns because of all those rumours that he would go into WWE, but then COVID struck. I don't believe that for a second. If he was going to be in WWE, who cares, But I'd love to see him in WWE. But maybe do a wee year in Impact and then come afterwards. But how old is James Storm? He's maybe getting on a bit, I don't know. But lovely to see him. Looked great. But then Heath Slater getting injured. I saw it as soon as, I think either I'm just a genius and I can read all wrestling, or just it wasn't as obvious as I thought it was. I saw it immediately, and I see these things immediately, and you see people on Twitter and stuff talking about it, and they just don't seem to, people are tweeting things like, that was strange that Heath just kind of went out, and I was like, did you not see the injury? It looks like a bad one, but I like the fact that they kind of changed, and I like when that happens, like when, obviously I don't like when someone gets injured, but when you see them kind of working out what's going to happen instead, the referee's passing on information to Rhino and that sort of thing. I think it's interesting. So good for Rhino picking up that win and that payday, And then there was the Moose and EC3 thing. I was kind of on in the background, I was doing all those things when that was on, but it looked really good for what it was, a nice cinematic undisclosed location match. But yeah, good stuff, really good show, another stellar Impact pay-per-view. My star ratings for all the matches are on this channel right now. I just posted about 5 minutes ago, so please check out the ratings I gave for each individual match. Where will they fall on the top matches of the year at the end of the year? Oh, we're coming into that season now, nearly in November. Start making the countdowns and the lists. One of my favourite things to do. So yes, good pay-per-view. It's going to be interesting going forward with this Impact roster and these storylines and these new champions. Hope Kylie Ray's okay. I hope Heath Slater's okay. I hope Alex Shelley's okay. And we can go on from here. But yes, Hell in a Cell tonight, buzzing for that. Only 5 matches announced. So that's going to be strange. I'm sure there'll be a couple more announced before the show starts on Twitter. So please check out my predictions, which was also posted earlier in the week here on the Wrestling Connection YouTube channel. Please check out the new episode of the podcast, which dropped today, episode 28. It's a belter when Glenn met Jeff Hardy and Scottish Otis. You need to listen to find out what that's all about. Check it out. Thanks for watching. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you all next time.